Welcome to Focused on Forward. The purpose of this podcast is to focus on recovery from life situations, be it a disease, chronic or acute, perhaps the loss of someone so dear to you in death, or a change of life patterns that has affected you so profoundly that you have no choice but to find your new normal and become focused on moving forward. Each episode is designed to show the positivity that people bring to each and every one of their stories, the successes they've had, ways that they have become so definitively focused on moving forward. We look forward to sharing their stories, and we hope that they inspire you just as much as they have inspired us. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the show. Hello, and welcome to Focused on Forward. Today, I'm very happy to have as my guest, Domo Jones. Domo she's got some interesting things to tell us about her story, the obstacles in life that she's had to deal with, some challenges that she's had to deal with. But what we're most excited to hear about is how she's gotten past these challenges in life, how she works with those challenges, and even more so, how she's focused on being positive in the process. So Domo, thank you so much. We're so glad to have you on Focused on Forward today.
Yes, I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you again for the invitation. So excited to be here.
Awesome. So, hey, whenever you're ready, go ahead and start. Go ahead and share your story with us.
Yes, sir. Let's get into it. All right. So, as you said, my name is Domo, but my actual name is Dominique. People don't know how to ever say that, so we're gonna say Domo for short. It's a little bit about me. I'm 32. I'm disabled. Well, so they say I'm disabled. I don't think I'm disabled at all, but they say I'm disabled. All right, I'm gonna give you that title, but I'm gonna tell you why I don't think I'm disabled, and I'll tell you how I grew up as that label. So at age 2, I was a severe asthmatic. And severe meaning like going to I spent days and weeks at the doctor because my asthma was it was hard to maintain. It was hard to maintain and contain. So at age 2, severe asthmatic. Age 3, I had Bell's palsy. And for those that don't know what Bell's palsy is, it's pretty much the left side of your face. It just droops. Like you have no feeling. You have no motion. You have no anything. It just loses its form. That started at 3. Didn't even know where it came from. Woke up in the morning and it was just there. Went to the doctor. They said, yeah, your face is probably never going to come back into its configuration because your muscles can't ever go back to its form when it's already drooped, when it's lost its form. So my mom was like, yeah, no, not taking that. Definitely not taking that diagnosis. So with no medication, no treatments, no anything, my face formed back to its original form. And I was so grateful because I'm like, man, at the time I was 3, so I didn't really know. But hearing it as I got older, I was like, man, how would it be if my face was, configured and it just came out of nowhere?
Right. You're appreciative now.
Extremely appreciative. Moving forward to age 9, that's when pretty much everything kind of like hit. 9 years old, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor. And how that came about was I was visiting my dad for the weekend, and he kind of noticed little situations that were just kind of like uncertain, in a sense of my my right side was drooping. I was like, everything I was doing, I was reaching over with my left hand to do, grab, close the door. I was not using my right hand like at all. I was dragging when I would walk. I would drink and it would like come down the side of my face, on the right side of my face. My right eye would kind of like droop a little smaller than my left. And this is kind of what took it for my dad to know something wasn't right. He was calling me, calling my name, didn't answer. Now y'all know when parents call kids, they like, I'm gonna need you to answer me. Don't act like you're ignoring me. But in this sense, I really did not hear him. And so that was a trigger like, yo, okay, what's going on here? Why can't she not hear me? And I'm tapping her and she can't even feel me touching her. I'm literally poking her with a pin, and she has her eyes closed and she can't even tell that I'm doing that. What's going on? Once her doctor found out that I had a brain tumor, it was pressing against my nerve spine that caused my deafness, partial blindness, permanent nerve damage, my equilibrium. That's why I was like, my balance was off and, all that stuff. So had the surgery. They told me that I probably wasn't going to live. And if I did, then I would be paralyzed from the neck down. Now, you can't give me that information and just say, okay, keep it pushing. Nah, no, we're not doing that. I'm a fighter. I am a fighter. And I didn't know I was a fighter until I had to fight. Um, Definitely did not happen. I had my hearing. It is a little distorted, but I can still hear. My vision came back. I do have permanent nerve damage, but I'm still alive. And they said that I wasn't. So they did say that 5 years later it was going to grow back. And it did in retrospect, which is okay. At that time I was 14 and I was on my way while I was getting ready for school, and I could not get out the bed for like 3-4 days. And during that time I was like so dizzy, I was vomiting, my balance was off, I just could not lift my head up. Went to the doctor, they told me that it grew back, and they told me that I would have to have emergency surgery again. Had it, but they said that it will grow back again for the third time every 5 years. So now at this time I'm 16. So that's only 2 years. Why is my tumor growing back again? And I'm trying to figure this out. Like, I'm confused. I'm like, I thought I had a 5-year grace period. It's getting knocked off in 2 years. What's going on? My tumor was growing back, and literally, so they said that you can't have surgery in the same spot more than twice. So the surgeries was not an option anymore. What's my next option? Radiation. So had to have radiation. I started radiation the day after my sweet 16th birthday, literally the day after. I did radiation for 5 weeks, 5 days a week. And that was probably the most traumatic experience I would say ever. The reason being is because it makes you so exhausted. And I was 16. And so I had to drop out of school for a semester because I was so tired. I didn't have any strength to do anything.
Yeah, there's no way you'd have been able to maintain that and
Not
school. No.
all. Like not at all. So that took the wind out of me. Okay, got over that hump. I'm 16. Let's go. Let's do this. In school, boom, boom. Hit with a gun puncher again. 21 years old. Yeah, your tumor's growing back. I cannot win for losing, guys. I'm like, what is it? What is it? So, can't do radiation again. Can't do surgery again. What is my other option? Chemotherapy. Now, at first, I was like, I'm 21 years old, about to do this chemotherapy. We all know when you hear chemotherapy, you think sickness, you think death, you think your hair about to fall out, you think scrawny, you think all that, right?
Yeah,
So
a
that
lot of bad images come into people's heads as soon as they hear chemo and or radiation, frankly.
and exactly so true. So I was very nervous. But they kind of affirmed me that because it hasn't grown back to its capacity, um, I won't have to do like the extreme dosage. So I was at the very first level of dosage, but I was at the highest dosage of that level. So they explained to me, my doctor explained to me what was going on, what I would have to do. Um, every 2 weeks I would have to have chemotherapy, and we're gonna do it for the first year. All right, cool. Trial and error. So I'm listening, And he was like, you have any questions? I said, yeah. Is my hair gonna fall out? Like, that's all I really care about. I don't care about what y'all talking about. I just want to know if my hair's gonna fall out, because it took me a long time to grow this out. That's all. That's it.
Hey, priorities, right?
Priority. He was like, that's all you can. I said, yeah, I don't care about that. Listen, I've been through so much other stuff. So this, to me, in my mindset, it's just like, this is another day. So
Just another thing to do.
it's another check. It's a check off the list.
There
Boom.
you go. Okay.
List. So went through chemo. First year was horrible for me, because I was not only doing the injections, but I was also doing the pills. And that was every 2 weeks. So I couldn't drive. I had to drop out of college. I couldn't work, because that was literally my life. My life was chemotherapy, sleep, and lab work, and in that routine. That was it for the first year. Ended up doing chemo for 6 years, a total of 185 treatments. And I'm so grateful that my skin never changed. I never lost an extreme amount of weight. My hair never fell out. And that, y'all know, I already said that was the most important thing to me.
Right.
My hair
So
never.
So you never had an issue? Like, I talked with some people who've had chemo, and they talk about skin irritation. They talk about like a rash that develops. You never had either of those issues?
Oh, the only thing that I had that was a symptom of theirs, of the like a typical chemo symptom, was the metal tasting of the mouth.
Okay, yeah, I've heard that being
Yeah,
discussed as well.
yeah, that metal. Yeah, that's horrible. When you're just like eating an orange and you're like, why do I taste metal? So
Yeah,
everything like metal.
yeah. A good friend of mine. As a matter of fact, I interviewed her a while back. Her name is Patty Shaw. She's a breast cancer survivor, and she talks about that same
Yeah.
the metal taste and trying to get over that, and it just kind of, she says, well, it was convenient because she wasn't hungry for much anyway at that point, because
Yes. Yes, because you're so physically exhausted, you don't feel like eating anyway. So it's just like whatever you eat, you're not even gonna want it anyway, because one, you're not hungry, and two, it tastes like metal. So you don't even know what you're eating, and you really don't even care. I just want to sleep.
right, yeah. So,
I
she voiced a similar opinion, so
Yeah, that metal is no joke. It's no joke. Um, yeah, so did chemo for 6 years. I was very grateful that the last 2 years, um, it was across the street from my house, so I was able to drive myself. I Now let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story about the time that I tried to be a strong survivor, and I
okay.
thought I was able to drive right after I did my chemo session, and that was an epic fail, because I almost crashed so many times. I didn't realize how quick it hits you. The exhausting hits you like a ton of bricks. And I had like at least a 30-minute drive. And within 10 minutes, that thing hit me. I had to pull over. Yeah, never. And so I was so glad that it was across the street. And the bad part is, because I'm so independent, I was struggling for 4 years, because I'm like, I have to sit in this passenger seat for 4 years, which I want to be in that driver's seat. Let me just be great, guys. I already got to do this chemo. Let me just be great and drive myself. So I was very grateful the last 2 years that I was able to ride. Listen, 5 minutes. I don't care, as long as I was in that driver's seat.
Hey, it's a 5-minute win.
5-minute win. So moving forward, did it for 6 years. I was very grateful that I came out of it strong, and I came out of it beating the odds of what people typically think um how chemo patients should look. That was a dope thing. I think for me, that was like the dopest thing, um to be going through chemotherapy and people not believing you until you have that wristband and you're coming out of the actual room and you're still smiling like, hey y'all, hey, and they're like, but you just had a whole hour of chemotherapy. I sure did. I sure did. Do not let the disability fool you. I sure did. Um, so as I said earlier, I have permanent permanent nerve damage, and I have muscle weakness. So that causes me not to feel on my right side sometimes. So for about 16 years, I do have my license, but for about 16 years, I wasn't able to drive with my shoe on because I couldn't feel the bottom of my foot. Um, so I just kind of like, I was tired of going in and out of the car, taking off my shoe, putting it back on. I was so tired of it. So literally one day I just kind of like stepped out on faith and was like, you know what? I'm just about to see how far I can drive with my shoe off. Let me just see how it feels. I mean, with my shoe on, I'm sorry. Let me just see how it feels. Let's just try it out. Um, and I was around the corner from my house, literally like 2 minutes. And I did it. And I was so excited. Like, I felt like that was like the biggest gift of life because I went from 16 years of not being able to drive with my shoe on ever. So from going from 16 years of not to going from 2 minutes of doing it, that was like the biggest accomplishment for me. And I can
Well, I
say
can only
today,
imagine. Yeah.
man, I still don't drive with my shoe on. I still drive with my shoe on now to this day. So I'm very grateful for that. Like that's like the biggest cheer ever.
Well, see, and now I know that you're in a warmer climate than I am. So I know that you're out in the West Coast. I'm in Michigan. And
Yes.
so, we're fixing to have winter here pretty soon. And all I can imagine is taking off a snow boot, putting on a snow boot, taking off
Man,
a snow boot, you know.
and socks, because I couldn't drive with socks either.
Oh, socks too.
Yes.
Oh, you had to go barefoot.
Yes.
Oh, no. Yeah,
The
that'd be
struggle.
horrible here in Michigan, man. The struggle would be
The
real.
struggle. Yes. So imagine, I mean, you guys' climate is way worse, but when we would have like raining days and sometimes it would snow out here a few days, the word I probably wouldn't drive a lot of times because of that reason. It was a struggle. Trying to put on your
Oh,
shoe
yeah.
and what no.
Oh, no, 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 no.
And the side, yes, it was no joke.
All
The
right.
behind the behind the scenes. Yeah, so I kind of felt like going through my life, I kind of felt like um I didn't really have a life in a sense of I felt like I all I did was doctor's appointments and medical. That was it. I didn't really have like a life to tell. I didn't really have like a life to live because every time I tried to, I would get hit by something medically challenging. And that would overtake whatever I was doing. So before my grandpa passed, he was like, "You need to write a book." And I was like, no, I'll pass. What am I gonna write about? I have nothing to tell. Try again. And um he was like, "Yeah, you have so much to tell. Please write the book." So 8 years later, because I definitely didn't feel like I could write the book or should. So it took me 8 years and I finally put the pen to the paper and I started writing. And the beginning of this year, actually in March, I self-published my first book. And I was super excited about that because I'm like, oh my gosh, guys, I really did it. Like guys, I really wrote a book, like a whole book.
Look, I
Guys,
did the thing. I did the thing.
right, I did it. I did it. So after that, everybody was like, so when you writing your next? I said, hold on, wait a minute. I literally just finished this one.
Took me 8
Ain't
years to get this one.
right, ain't no next. No, it's this, and that's it. Don't no, we're not talking about the next. The next is not doing this no more. That's the next.
Okay. So let's talk about your book. What's the focus of your book? What's it about?
Yes. So pretty much the synopsis of kind of what I told you about my life is in the book. It's an autobiography, but it takes you through the journey of what I felt going through each of the processes because of myself growing up dealing with so many medical issues, I didn't allow myself to feel because I had to go through so much. It was just literally like, this is the day that I just have to go through a checklist. Let's get it. But I never took the time to break down how I felt going through it or what it looked like in my view. So this book just kind of gives it a breakdown of me even realizing I was going through depression. um I was sad, I was irritated, I was frustrated. I didn't have any of those feelings. If you saw me face to face, I was as happy and go lucky as they come. But deep down, I was eating my life away. I was 350 pounds at 17. um just depressed, didn't want to kill myself, but if I didn't wake up in the morning, I was okay because nothing else was able to take me out.
Okay.
So and then I'm going to tell you guys this: the book is not a typical read or a typical write, in the sense of it's not like, yes, and I said, and you, no, it's literally how I'm talking. I got hashtags in there. I got girl, please. I got girl, let me tell you something. I got stuff like, I got laughing. I got jokes.
So it's you on paper.
It's literally me on paper.
Well, that's, you know what, I in a lot of ways I think that's a very good thing. I think whether you're writing or you're publishing or you're podcasting, for instance, I think it's very important that people get to see who you are and what you are, um, to be to to be part of that.
Yes, very true. Very true.
Because
Yes,
people read through a thin veil pretty quickly. You know what I mean?
right.
So if you're not coming with it and you're not being real, people are gonna know. It's gonna be
They're,
plainly obvious.
they're definitely going to know. So I definitely want to be as real as possible, and I didn't want it to be edited to where it was perfection, because I'm not perfect.
Fair
And
enough.
share it as perfection. I want to share it as, this is my real life. No, this is really what I'm dealing with. This is really who I am.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about your process and how you moved past some of these things, because that's what our show is about. We talk about the issues that people come through in life, but we also like to hear how they came through it. So what are
Yes.
some of the things that helped Domo Jones get from the point of having these issues to being the smiley faced publisher of a book?
Yes, sir. So pretty much my faith plays a really big role. That's like my number one source, because I deal with so much. I know for a fact I would be literally mentally losing my mind
Okay,
if I
fair
did
enough.
like substance of faith. But what got me through and what's getting me through is people come up to me all the time and have told me, man, what you're dealing with has literally like stopped me from committing suicide, or has stopped me from, just wanting to take my life because of your story. And so even with that, I just come to the realization that what I go through is not for me. So if I have that mindset of what you're dealing with is not for you, it's easier to go through. It's easier to process, because you realize that someone is relying on your life, your push through, your get through, to help them conquer anything.
Okay, so you feel almost as if it's a life of service to someone else.
Yes, definitely so. Definitely so. I feel like I feel like first that my life is, everybody can't live the life, and everybody can't do what I deal with, right? It's taxing. Just like for the next person, I probably wouldn't be able to deal with the issues that they do, and that's okay. But because I have this life, what I'm going to do with it, I'm going to treasure it, and I'm going to live with it to the best of my ability. And my limitations are not going to stop me from doing what I have dreams about, what I value, what I love, what I honor. Yes, I have a physical disability. I use a walker, I have a leg brace, but guess what? I still travel. I go skydiving. I go everywhere. Wherever I want to do, whatever I want to go, I do it because I have my limitations, but it's just altered to my life. It don't stop me from doing it. I'm just got to do it my way. That's all. Just got to do it my way.
No, that's good. I've heard it said before that limitations are things that are placed on you by other people. And
Boom.
so, uh, if and with when you're working inside of what they deem to be limitations, that puts limits on you.
Yes. Yes. I live by this motto. Actually, it's one of my businesses. I have an online store that promotes my motto, don't let the disability fool you. And I use that tagline so much because people can look at you on your outer and just automatically assume what you can't do or what you're incapable of just by the looks, not even saying anything, just by your looks. And I get that all the time because I use a walker and I have a leg brace. So I walk slower. So just by looking at me, it look like I need help all the time. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I drive, I travel, I'm an author, I'm a business owner. Those are things that cannot be measured by looking at me.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah.
You can't. You you just can't. And that's what I love because I want to tell people and help people understand the confidence that you have should contradict what people think of you all the time.
My the last interview that we posted was with a gentleman named Dave Stevens. And
Hmm.
I don't know if you know who he is or not, but Dave Stevens, as he put it, it's the greatest sports story you've never heard. Here's a man who was born without legs,
Yeah, yeah.
who who got a tryout with the Dallas Cowboys.
See? Boom.
Yeah, yeah. Just his story
Boom.
is it's mind blowing. The things that this man was able to accomplish.
Yes. That is. Because it's the confidence in you. If you feel like you could do it, man, can't nobody tell me nothing now. And I'm going to prove to you what you think I can't do.
Yeah, I
Boom.
get that. I can definitely pick up on that from you.
I'm gonna prove it. I love being that. I love being that. That eyeball in the sense of you of someone underestimating what they know about me or what they think I can do. Because um now that people know my person, well, I don't want to say now. A lot of people didn't know my personality. A lot of people, they just saw pictures of me with my walker. They saw pictures of me when I was feeling well. So they're like, oh, she needs help. Oh, and I'm like, when they're around me, they realize that I can probably do more than they can. And they're full able bodied.
Yeah, I get this. I get the feeling that I get tired out being around you. Just you're gonna run me ragged. That's okay though. That's
It's
good.
okay. Listen,
That's
we're
a
in this together. We're in this together.
absolutely, absolutely. So hey, let's talk about a couple of the questions I always like to ask all my guests. Tell me what's the one single greatest piece of advice you've gotten that's affected you.
Ooh, that's a really good question. I probably have to say, um, what's one single advice that has affected you? I probably have to say, kind of along the lines that I've said earlier, um, that your life isn't for you. So the battles that you face are not for you. That really took me to a whole nother state mentally because this world can become so self-orientated and about themselves and about them all the time. And that whole sentence, that line is such a selfless act. It's just like humbling to the T in my view. that your life is, you're not living this life for you, you're living this life for the next person. That is selfless. That brings your whole situation all the way down, because you're not thinking about yourself anymore. It's not about you at all. Nothing that you do is not about you. Nothing that you do is about you. Everything that you do is for somebody else, because somebody needs you that much. Woo, that's crazy.
That's deep. I like it though. That's good.
Deep.
All right. So here's the next one.
Let's go.
All right. So looking back over your life story, over your life's history, not to reduce it down to one sentence, but what's the most important lesson that life has taught you?
You know what? The most important lesson, it's okay to not be strong all the time. I would definitely have to say that, because I felt like I always had to be that one to fight, to press on, to smile. Oh yeah, I'm good. Oh yeah, I'm great. Oh yeah, I'm fine. Oh yeah, I'm not bothered. Oh yeah, no. This ain't no big thing. I always felt like I had to be that one, but in retrospect, I was like burning, and I was hurting. I don't want to say hurting as if someone did something to me, but I didn't allow myself to process what I was going through so I can heal it. I didn't allow myself, because I kept putting bricks and strength and fight in front of my feelings. And it just kind of like, I just like would just break down and felt like I didn't have anything in me, until I just let whatever I was dealing with, until I let that situation get in my system and understand what I'm going through. Um, that's when I kind of was able to process it more easily.
Okay. Do you think that that had to do with a bit of, because I get from your personality that, as you said earlier, that you're a bit of a fighter and you're strong willed and everything. Do you think that that bit of self reliance affected your ability to not admit that you were okay?
I think so, because I felt like if I showed a glimpse of weakness, I wouldn't be able to go through anything I was dealing with. If I showed a glimpse of I couldn't, or a glimpse of question, or a glimpse of doubt, then I probably wouldn't be able to go through it. So I kind of wiped out any feelings, any thoughts. I just kind of like made everything neutral, as if I was like going to class, like it's not really a big deal. I kind of looked at it as that, because I felt like if I broke at any given point, I would probably not be able to go through the process at all.
Okay. So a bit of going through the motions just to get, following the pattern, just to make sure that whatever needed to be got
Yeah.
done.
Yep. As long as it got done, that was literally my mindset. I just need to get this done.
Okay. So, and clearly you seem to be much different today.
Hey, let's go.
That's right. No, I'll tell you what. So the folks who are listening, this being an audio podcast, are not able to see your smile. And I'll tell you what, guys, it is, she has an infectious smile.
Yeah.
Yeah, very upbeat, very personable, very cheerful. And I tell you what, it's kind of hard not to watch her and listen to her and not smile right along with her. So
I see smiling. Let's go. Smile. Smiles all the way around.
that's right. Smiles for everybody. All right. So let's talk just real quick a little bit more about your book. What's the name of it and where can people find it?
Yes, sir. So the name of it is #Damaged But Not Dead. It's all one word. And you can find it on Amazon. You can find it on Barnes and Noble. You can find it on Walmart.com. Yes. Damaged but not dead. #Damaged but not dead. And you can either find it under the title, or you can find it under my name, Dominique Jones.
All right. Very good. And now you also mentioned that you're a business owner, and that the business slogan again. What was the name of that business and the slogan one more time?
Yes, sir. The name of my business is called Salve, SALVE, and that is basically an ointment for healing. I definitely want to name it that because I just felt like that was kind of powerful. And my slogan that I use on all my merchandise is don't let a disability fool you. That's the name that or my motto. That's my motto. So that's on everything.
All right. Well, cool. And we'll make sure that when we post your interview, that we'll post links for both your book and your business. That way
Thank
people
you.
can find you on both ends and kind of help you out there. Is there any other areas where you'd like to have people be able to contact you, or a way that people can contact you?
Definitely. So you can find me on Facebook under Domo Jones. You can find me on IG under Dominic Jones. You can find me on IG under author with earmuffs. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm not that type to where I don't befriend people from my personal page. Like I don't hide my page. I'm not that rude person to where if I don't know you, we're not gonna be friends. No, no, no. I'm as friendly as they come. We about to be friends to the end. Friends to the end.
I definitely believe that. All right. Well, cool. Domo, this has been a very encouraging chat. I think you're a very encouraging person. And I think your story is something that gives people something to look to. And I think that if they're able to get their hands on your book, again, that's hashtag damaged but not dead, all one word. If they're able to get their hands on that, I think that they're going to be able to read that, get a laugh, a giggle or two. They're going to see your personality come through that book, get some smiles, but they're also going to get some encouragement. So,
Yes, sir.
friends, check that out when you get a moment, and also check out her business. We'll have those linked in the bio underneath. So, thank you very much, Domo, for being here today and being a guest
Thank
of
you
Focused on
so much.
Forward.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you again.
Yeah,
Bye, guys.
this has been great. That's going to conclude us today for Focused on Forward. Well, that concludes another episode of Focused on Forward. To be a guest of Focused on Forward, you can reach us through Twitter at podcastfof, through our Facebook page named Focused on Forward, or through email focusedonforward@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing each and every one of your stories that has yet to be told. So until then, be safe, be kind, and be loving to one another as you stay focused on forward.